I'm sorry to tell you this, Karina. Your Lucario went rabbit. You gotta put it down. Hello, everybody. Tyron the God 3 here, and this episode got subbed a lot faster than I thought it would. It actually got subbed yesterday, but I didn't get to doing the review until today. So I'm gonna just go ahead and do the review today because I'm actually grateful because I'm actually in classes now again. So yeah. Episode 32 of Pokemon X and Y anime review is a go. This episode is called Mega Lucario vs. Mega Lucario, a storm of aura. And this episode begins with where the last episode basically left off. Lucario has finally received the Lucario Knight and is now Mega Evolving into Mega Lucario. When Lucario ends up Mega Evolving into Lucario, something seems a little off, and even Ash and Pikachu pick it up. To where Lucario's not showing its happy, energetic emotions anymore. Now it's just showing to be mostly serious. Lucario basically, once it's Mega Evolved, shows to have a wave of just pure energy around it. So every time it even does a punch or a kick, the entire air is just filled with this warm energy breeze that passes our heroes. And then Ash gets intrigued by this and wants to battle a Mega Pokemon. So yeah, Ash is up for a massacre against the Mega. But this is good for him. It gives him experience to battle against the power of a Mega Evolved Pokemon. So it isn't a complete waste. So, before the battle starts though, they want to know exactly how strong Lucario's become. And Clement shows that he has invented a thing that basically allows him to keep track of a Pokemon's power level and how powerful it can become. Bonnie points out that the name is literally just a description, and Lucario starts showing off its moves. And when it starts showing off its moves, basically the power meter goes really high into the red. If you were to make an abridged series of this episode, there's a over 9,000 joke just waiting for you. But anyway, after all of that ends up happening, Team Rocket goes in and they, normally I hate it when I see Team Rocket because it gives off the foreshadow that they're going to be in this episode fucking it up, but they didn't. And actually they just were a little bit funny this time because Team Rocket's wow, they're just Mega Evolving all over the place because of the Gardevoir, and then they see the Lucario and stuff. And then Jesse looks at Meowth and goes, hey, how come you don't Mega Evolve? And Meowth's our hero always comes in late. he's trying to say I haven't Mega Evolved yet because they saved the best for last or something. It's funny when you point it out like that. But other than that, when the battle begins and it's Karina and her Mega Lucario versus Ash and Pikachu, again, why does Ash keep fucking using Pikachu? He has two other Pokemon. Fletchling hasn't seen any screen time since the gym battle with Grant, and it died in that battle. Well, it didn't die, but it got knocked out really quickly. And Froakie hasn't seen any screen time since that battle either. What the hell, Ash? Use other Pokemon. Anyway, Pikachu ends up battling off against Lucario, and while it's doing this, Lucario starts off with Bone Club, and since normally a Bone Club from a Mega Lucario would do a lot of damage, but Ash was actually able to counter this using Iron Tail. But it wasn't just Ash and Pikachu alone that knocked the Bone Club away. What ended up happening is that Lucario can't control his own power, so it was overwhelmed by how much power the Bone Club was and ended up losing it in the losing grip of it. So the Bone Club knocked away into a nearby mountain area and ends up blowing up a piece of the mountain. So then afterwards, Lucario gets really frustrated that it missed, that it failed to do damage on Pikachu. So it's becoming more angry as the battle is progressing. As the battle continues, though, Lucario is basically able to dodge all of Pikachu's attacks no problem, and is even able to counter Pikachu off by using a Power-Up Punch. The Power-Up Punch misses because Pikachu's slightly faster, but then Lucario ends up getting faster instantly, and because of this, it was able to knock Pikachu away with the kick. However, the kick wasn't ordered by Karina. Lucario starts doing it on its own. It was at this point where Lucario's eyes start glowing red and even getting smaller in the pupils. At this point, we can see Lucario's fangs are also showing off a little bit more, showing that it's being a lot more aggressive in this battle. The battle keeps continuing, and while it's continuing, Pikachu ends up getting hit by another power punch and knocked into the crater of a rock. And then Ash tries to counter back with Electro Ball, but at this point, Lucario's so fast that it's able to keep up with Pikachu's speed, like, no matter where it, like, tries to run off to. After that, it chases down Pikachu and then ends up punching him. But when he punches him, he also ends up showing his fangs, biting Pikachu's tail and swinging poor little Pikachu around like a rag doll. Yeah, it's a very murderous scene. Like, you ever seen like a coyote grab a bunny and just like viciously shake it? It's what I had in mind when I seen this go down. So at this point, Karina notices that there's something wrong. Lucario doesn't battle like this. Lucario isn't vicious, and this isn't the type of battling that Karina wants Lucario to do. Because at this point, this is a good scene because it shows the difference between a Pokemon battle and just a straight up fight. Like, this is a fight, not a battle anymore for Lucario. It's at this point that Lucario can't hear anything that Karina's saying. Like, everything she's saying basically sounds like muffles. And Lucario's vision has been piss poor. It's all gray. And the only thing that's in color is Pikachu, because that's the target that Lucario wants to murder. Ash immediately knows something's wrong when Pikachu gets slammed down into the ground, and Ash basically quits the battle and tries to defend Pikachu, even if it means killing himself. Lucario contemplates on whether or not it should keep attacking, and it does continue with his attack completely out of Karina's direction to stop. Right before it attacks Ash, however, Gurrikn, that's the name of the guy. I'm sorry I didn't pronounce his name in the last review, but Karina's grandfather's name is Gurrikn. Gurrikn ends up calling out his Lucario, and the Lucario's not even Mega Evolved, but it's still able to use is still able to block the power-up punch that was about to hit Pikachu and Ash. So it's able to block Lucario off and then use its wave, the aura of its wave, to knock Lucario back. And when it does, Mega Lucario is about to keep attacking, but it can't anymore because it's exhausted all of its power at once and ends up transforming back into regular Lucario and fainting. Meanwhile, after that point, Pikachu's just brutally damaged and Lucario's overexertingly exhausted. So Karina's just sobbing and wondering exactly what just happened, and Ash basically snaps her back into her thought process and tells her, hey, we got to take our Pokemon back to the Pokemon Center. Meanwhile, at the Pokemon Center, our heroes are trying to figure out exactly what went wrong. Pikachu comes back in full recovery, and Karina basically apologizes about what happened in the battle. Ash shrugs it off as saying it's no big deal and that you just need to control Lucario and see how why it's so aggressive. Gurrikn comes in and basically explains that since this is the first time Lucario's ever Mega Evolved, it's overwhelmed by how much power it has and has gone on a berserker rage. Karina asked, was this the exact same problem that Gurrikn had with his Lucario first evolved? But Gurrikn in some weird way never answers the question, as if to imply that no, he didn't have this problem and Karina just sucks. But anyway, Clement basically explains how when they met Mega Gardevoir and Diantha, that they had a little bit more control based on the way that they worked together. And then Bonnie and Serena also pointed out how Lucario acted in the battle, and Karina basically contemplates on what she can do to fix this problem so it doesn't happen again. Meanwhile, the cameraman comes in and basically gives Karina the bracelet, the arm brace thing that her grandpa's Lucario has. Now Karina's Lucario can wear the Lucario Knight without having to hold that giant rock. So he was able to carve that thing relatively fast. I mean, Jesus. But anyway, after all of that happened, Karina's still contemplating on what she needs to do in order to fix Lucario. Oh, also the cameraman gives her the picture of Ash, Bonnie, Clement, and Serena again. Like, he reprinted a new copy. So yeah, this cameraman's awesome. So after that, Lucario ends up making a recovery from the Pokemon Center, and then the grandpa basically, Gurrikn basically states that he's very disappointed in how Karina acted during the battle, how she wasn't able to take control of the situation, and how Lucario was so aggressive in the battle. He challenges Karina to a battle outside of the Pokemon Center, and Karina basically is jumping for joy to accept the challenge because they battled their grandpa before. It's just she's never beaten him. So Ash and the others go watch the battle, of course, and the battle basically goes off with them mega evolving right at the start. Karina basically states that she's never won a battle against her grandpa, and Ash wishes Karina luck. They both begin to mega evolve their Lucarios right at the start of the battle, and the battle begins. It's kind of cool to note this. Both of the Lucarios know the move Bone Club, but the way that they do the Bone Club is completely different. Karina's Lucario uses Bone Club in a way to where there's two small Bone Clubs useful for double-handed combat, while Gurrikn's Lucario uses one long Bone Club to use it as single-handed combat for more control. I like this. I like it. It's a nice touch to show how both of these Lucarios are trained in completely different styles. Anyway, when the battle continues, Karina's Lucario is unable to get any real hits in, gets frustrated, and ends up transforming back ends up getting into that Berserker Rabbit Lucario phase, and then ends up trying to viciously attack, and even ends up attacking Mega Lucario without Karina's orders. So each of the attacks end up failing because Gurrikn's Lucario is just way stronger and in way more control. After this, Gurrikn's Lucario ends up using Aura Spear to knock out Karina's Mega Lucario, and her Mega Lucario ends up transforming back into regular Lucario, and then Gurrikn's Mega Lucario transforms back as well. With the battle over, Lucario does regain consciousness, so it shows that it didn't overexert itself too much like in the battle with Ash. But this is one of my favorite scenes. Gurrikn basically explains to Karina and Lucario why they keep failing every time they mega evolve. Gurrikn scolds Karina by stating that you and Lucario are too cocky. You two think that you know each other way too long. It's like you two have been side by side for so long that you all haven't had the chance to really witness your downsides, and you think you two are the perfect tag team when in fact you need to show some self-control and have more discipline and patience. So basically he's saying she's too cocky and she doesn't stop and think about the situation, which I really like. This was a real good chance for Karina to see her faults, and it's good to see a gym leader actually seeing this much progression happening to her just right at once, and to show that even though she's being able to mega evolve a Pokemon, she's still leagues behind being a perfect trainer. It basically shows that she has her own faults. What Gurrikn basically tells Karina to do now is to start a new journey towards the Must Mountains. There, they're going to find that one woman that you see in the opening credits with the Mawile, with the Mega Mawile, and basically they're going to be battling her so that they can get more training, so that Lucario can gain self-control. Ash agrees to go with Karina because he wants to experience this journey with her and become stronger too by training on the way. Serena, Bonnie, and Clement, of course, are going to come as well so that they can travel. So I really like this. The journey basically continues with Karina still being on the team with Ash, Bonnie, Clement, and Serena. And with this said, the episode basically ends with them going off on this journey. Now, the thing about this episode, like I said, I'm glad Team Rocket didn't interfere again, so that was good. But the thing I really like about this episode was Gurrikn. Gurrikn is probably one of the best relative, mentor characters we've seen so far. I say this because he's the first person that I've ever known to be a rough teacher. There's no real sensei I've seen in Pokemon, or teacher or whatever, that has ever scolded someone this much less his own granddaughter. The way he treats his granddaughter is really hard, but it's a tough love type deal. And I love how much control that Gurrikn has and his Lucario to show that they are still leagues ahead of Karina. He even states that the Shoyo City gym is going to suffer if she doesn't act right. You're still miles away from being a great gym leader. And it shows that she's not so far off from Ash. She may have won both of her battles against Ash, but it seems to me like Ash has more of the control and more of the potential to become a better trainer just based off what Gurrikn told Karina. Karina still has so much to learn, which makes her not as powerful of a gym leader as of right now. And I love that Ash says that he wants to battle Lucario and Karina at their best, which will make for a very good battle. Ash has lost against Karina twice, regular Lucario and Mega, but this is going to make for a much better battle when they've mastered Mega Evolution. But now, the next episode is called Hearts Calling Out to One Another, Go Beyond the Aura. I'll see you all then, everybody. Tyrone the God 3 out.